Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to introduce you to two people. One of them you know very well, the one who hits the snooze button, the one who puts things off for tomorrow, the one who doubts, hesitates, and settles for less. That's the weaker version of yourself. And then there's another version, the one who wakes up early, who takes action, who is disciplined, who is fearless, who lives up to their full potential. The question is, which version of you will win? The power of choice. Success doesn't start with a miracle. It doesn't start with luck. It starts with a choice. The weak version of yourself is not something you're born with. It's something you allow to exist. Every day, you are given two doors. One leads to discipline, courage, and achievement. The other, to excuses, regret, and wasted potential. You are not stuck with the weaker version of yourself. That version is not your destiny. It is merely a choice, a habit, a pattern that has been reinforced over time. And the most important thing you need to understand right now is that you have the power to change. The moment you realize that your future is not determined by your past, the moment you stop accepting your weaknesses as permanent, everything begins to shift. Too many people believe they are victims of their circumstances. They say, I was born into this, or I've always been this way, as if their identity is set in stone. But let me tell you something, you were not born lazy, you were not born unmotivated, you were not born weak. Those are learned behaviors, and anything that is learned can be unlearned. Think about this. At any given moment, you are one decision away from changing your life. One decision to wake up earlier. One decision to stop making excuses. One decision to push harder than you ever have before. But here's the problem. Most people never make that decision. They think about it, they dream about it, they talk about it, but when it comes time to act, they hesitate. And hesitation is what keeps people stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same patterns, living the same life year after year. Now, why do people hesitate? Because the weak version of themselves is comfortable. It whispers, stay where you are, don't push too hard, don't take risks. It tells you that change is too difficult, that it's safer to stay in the same place. And if you listen to that voice, if you allow it to control your decisions, you will never break free. You will live a life of regret, always wondering what could have been if only you had the courage to take that first step. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is simple. Successful people recognize that their weak self is an enemy, and they choose to fight against it every single day. They refuse to accept mediocrity. They refuse to let fear dictate their future. They refuse to let excuses define them. Think of your mind like a battlefield. On one side, you have the weak version of yourself full of doubt, fear, and laziness. On the other side, you have your strongest self, the one who is disciplined, relentless, and committed. Every day, you wake up and decide which side will win. Every action you take either strengthens the weak version or strengthens the powerful version. And if you don't actively choose the stronger side, the weaker one wins by default. This is why you must become intentional about your growth. You cannot wait for motivation to strike. You cannot wait for the perfect time. You must decide right now that you will no longer allow weakness to control your life. Start by making small choices that align with the person you want to become. Get up earlier, even when you don't feel like it. Push yourself to work harder, even when it's uncomfortable. Stop making excuses, even when they seem justified. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you weaken the grip of that lesser version of yourself. The truth is, you are far more powerful than you give yourself credit for. You have within you the ability to transform your entire life, but that power will remain untapped unless you decide to step into it. The moment you take full responsibility for your choices, the moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your past, everything changes. So the question is, will you choose to remain as you are, or will you rise up and become who you were meant to be? The decision is yours. Which one will you choose? Destroying self-imposed limitations. Some people say, but I'm just not that person. Let me tell you something. Your thoughts create your reality. If you keep telling yourself you're weak, if you keep convincing yourself that you're not capable, then you will never rise above your limitations. What if you change the story? What if, instead of saying, I can't, you started saying, I will? What if, instead of focusing on where you are, you focused on where you're going? Your greatest enemy isn't out there. It's in here right between your ears. And if you don't destroy that weak mindset, it will destroy you. The weak version of yourself is built on limitations. But the truth is, most of those limitations are not real. They are self-imposed, created in your own mind through years of doubt, fear, and conditioning. They are the stories you tell yourself about why you can't, why it's too late, why you're not good enough. And the longer you believe those stories, the more they become your reality. But here's the good news. Just as you created those limits, you can destroy them. Most people go through life trapped in a cage of their own making. They don't even realize that the door is unlocked, that all they have to do is step out. But they stay inside because they have convinced themselves that escape is impossible. They say things like, I've never been good at this, or I don't have the talent, or people like me don't succeed. And so they remain stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they lack belief. Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved greatness started out just like you. They had doubts, they had fears, they had weaknesses, but the difference is they refused to accept those limitations as truth. They challenged their doubts, they questioned their fears, and they took action despite them. They realized that their potential was not determined by their past, but by their willingness to push beyond their perceived limits. You see, the mind is powerful. It will either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. If you constantly tell yourself you can't do something, your mind will find ways to prove you right. But if you start telling yourself that you can, that you are capable, that you are strong enough, then your mind will start finding ways to make it happen. Your thoughts create your reality. The problem is that most people are not even aware of how much they are limiting themselves. They are so used to playing small, to settling, to staying within their comfort zones that they don't even realize they are capable of more. And the only way to break free from that is to challenge yourself, to do the things that scare you, to take the risks that make you uncomfortable. Because growth does not happen inside your comfort zone. It happens when you step outside of it, when you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Imagine for a moment that you were capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. Imagine that there were no limitations, no doubts, no fears holding you back. How differently would you act? What decisions would you make? What risks would you take? The truth is, that version of you already exists. It's just buried under layers of self-doubt and fear. And the only way to uncover it is to stop accepting the lies you've been telling yourself. Start questioning your excuses. Start asking yourself, is this really true? Or is it just something I've told myself for so long that I believe it? Most of the time, you'll realize that your excuses have no real foundation. They are just a convenient way to avoid discomfort. And once you recognize that, you take away their power. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, it's not intelligence, it's not luck. It's the simple willingness to destroy the limits in their own mind, to stop listening to the voice that says, I can't, and replace it with a voice that says, I will. So what's stopping you? What limitation have you placed on yourself that is keeping you from the life you truly want? Whatever it is, understand that it is not real, it is just a belief, and beliefs can be changed. The moment you decide to stop accepting your own excuses, the moment you decide to destroy every self-imposed limitation, that is the moment you set yourself free. The discipline factor, here's the truth. Success is a daily battle. It's a war between what you want now and what you need for your future. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. And let me tell you something, feelings are unreliable. If you only did things when you felt like it, you'd never grow. Do you think champions feel like training every day? Do you think millionaires feel like waking up early and grinding? No, but they do it anyway. The difference between the weak version of you and the strong version of you, one lets feelings decide, the other lets commitment decide. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is not about talent, luck, or even motivation. It is about the small, consistent actions that, when repeated over time, create massive transformation. The weak version of yourself operates on feelings that waits until it feels like doing something before taking action. But the strongest version of you understands that feelings are unreliable. If you only did things when you felt like it, you would never achieve anything worthwhile. Discipline is what separates the average from the extraordinary, the dreamers from the doers, the weak from the strong. Most people never reach their full potential because they lack discipline. They start something with excitement, but as soon as the excitement fades, they quit. They say they want success, but they are unwilling to wake up early, put in the extra hours, or sacrifice their comforts to earn it. They rely on motivation, hoping that one day they will wake up and feel inspired to change their life. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline, however, is what keeps you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have achieved greatness in any field, whether it's business, sports, music, or personal development. Do you think they relied on motivation every single day? Number, they showed up when they didn't feel like it. They trained when they were tired. They worked when no one was watching. They understood that discipline is the price you pay for success. Every choice you make is either feeding the weak version of yourself or the strong version of yourself. When you hit the snooze button, when you skip the workout, when you procrastinate on your goals, you are reinforcing weakness. But when you wake up early, when you push yourself, when you do the hard things, even when you don't feel like it, you are reinforcing strength. You are building the kind of character that can handle success, that can endure challenges, that can rise above mediocrity. The secret to discipline is to stop negotiating with yourself. The weak version of you will always try to make excuses. It will say, just 5 more minutes of sleep, or I'll start tomorrow, or it's okay to take it easy today. And the moment you entertain those thoughts, you have already lost. Successful people don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait until they feel like it. They decide in advance what must be done, and they do it. No excuses, no exceptions. Discipline is not about making huge leaps overnight. It is about small daily victories. It's about showing up every day and doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about developing habits that make success inevitable. You don't have to see instant results. You just have to trust the process and stay consistent. Over time, those small efforts compound into something extraordinary. One of the greatest lessons in life is understanding that your habits create your future. If you want to change your life, you have to change your habits. And changing habits requires discipline. You must train yourself to take action regardless of how you feel. It won't be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. The greatest rewards come to those who are willing to do what others won't. So ask yourself, are you operating on feelings or discipline? Are you waiting for motivation, or are you taking control of your actions? The strong version of you is waiting to emerge, but it will only come when you develop the discipline to rise above your excuses. Success is not about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do every single day. Discipline is the key, and once you master it, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Taking responsibility for your life. Stop waiting for someone to save you. No one is coming. Your boss won't save you. Your government won't save you. Your friends won't save you. And let me tell you something, harsher excuses won't save you either. The moment your life changes is the moment you take full responsibility for where you are. Not 50%, not 80%, 100%. If you don't like your job, change it. If you don't like your body, fix it. If you don't like your habits, break them. Because until you take ownership of your life, you will remain at the mercy of your weaker self. Your environment is shaping you every single day, whether you realize it or not. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the books you read, the content you consume of it is either lifting you up or pulling you down. You cannot expect to become the strongest version of yourself while surrounding yourself with negativity, laziness, and mediocrity. Growth does not happen in a toxic environment. If you want to unleash your true potential, you must upgrade the world around you. Take a moment and think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Are they encouraging you to grow, to think bigger, to take action? Or are they filling your mind with doubt, distractions, and excuses? The saying is true. You become the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. If you are constantly around people who complain, who make excuses, who settle for less, then it will only be a matter of time before you start adopting the same mindset. But if you surround yourself with ambitious, disciplined, and driven individuals, your own standards will naturally rise. This applies not only to people, but also to the things you consume. What are you feeding your mind? Are you filling it with wisdom, strategies, and inspiration? Or are you wasting hours scrolling through meaningless distractions, consuming content that adds no value to your life? Every piece of information you allow into your mind is either making you stronger or weaker. Successful people are intentional about their environment. They choose to read books that expand their thinking, to listen to podcasts that challenge their mindset, to engage in conversations that inspire growth. They don't allow negativity, gossip, or low-value distractions to take up space in their mental environment. Your habits are also a product of your environment. If your surroundings encourage laziness, you will become lazy. If your environment promotes discipline and excellence, you will naturally elevate your actions. This is why successful people create spaces that set them up for success. They design their daily routines in a way that eliminates temptation and reinforces productivity. They structure their schedules to prioritize growth, ensuring that their time is spent on activities that bring them closer to their goals. It is not enough to simply have big dreams. You must align your environment with those dreams. If you want to be successful, you must put yourself in rooms where success is the standard. If you want to be disciplined, you must remove the distractions that make discipline difficult. If you want to grow, You must surround yourself with people, books, and experiences that challenge you to become better. Change can be uncomfortable. Letting go of old relationships, old habits, and old environments is not always easy. But staying in a place that no longer serves your growth is far more dangerous. The cost of remaining in the wrong environment is a life of regret, wasted potential, and unfulfilled dreams. You must have the courage to walk away from anything that is keeping you small, no matter how familiar or comfortable it may be. The truth is, if you are serious about becoming the best version of yourself, you cannot afford to stay in environments that do not support your growth. You must make the conscious decision to upgrade your surroundings, to be intentional about who and what you allow into your life. When you do this, everything changes. Your mindset sharpens, your energy increases, your discipline strengthens, and your results skyrocket. Success is not just about what you do, it is about where you place yourself. Put yourself in the right environment, and you will unlock levels of potential you never thought possible. The 1% rule, daily growth. You don't have to change overnight. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and be a whole new person, but you must get better every single day. Success is not about one big move. It's about small, consistent actions that build momentum. Just 1% better every day means you'll be 37 times better in a year. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Wake up a little earlier, read 10 pages a day, do one more rep, make one more sales call, give one more hour to your dreams. Over time, these little actions add up, and suddenly, you won't even recognize the person in the mirror. The journey to becoming your strongest self is not a temporary challenge, it is a lifelong commitment. Too many people treat growth as a short-term project. They push hard for a few weeks, see some progress, and then slowly fall back into old habits. They let their momentum fade because they think they have arrived, but true transformation is not about reaching a destination. It is about becoming a person who never stops improving, never stops learning, and never stops pushing forward. The weak version of yourself is always looking for an excuse to slow down. It tells you you've done enough, or take it easy, or you deserve a break. And while rest is important, there is a difference between rest and complacency. Rest is a tool to recharge. Complacency is an excuse to stop. The moment you allow yourself to become comfortable is the moment you start sliding backward. Growth does not have a finish line. There is no point where you can say, I've made it. I no longer need to push myself. The strongest individuals in the world, the most successful people in every field, understand that self-mastery is a never-ending process. You must develop the mindset of constant progress. Every day is an opportunity to become better than you were yesterday. Every challenge is a test to see how strong you have become. Every setback is a lesson that prepares you for the next level. The question is not, have I done enough? The question is, what more can I do to grow? The moment you stop asking that question, you begin to decline. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that success, discipline, and personal growth are things they can achieve once and be done with. But just like physical fitness, mental and emotional strength must be maintained. Imagine someone who trains hard for a few months, gets in the best shape of their life, and then stops working out completely. What happens? They lose their progress. Their strength fades, their energy drops. The same principle applies to personal growth. If you stop pushing yourself, you don't just stay the same, you actually regress. This is why commitment is key. You must commit to this path for life. You must wake up every day and choose to keep going, keep growing, and keep striving for more. You must train your mind to love the process, not just the results. Too many people chase quick fixes, looking for shortcuts to success. But the truth is, the strongest version of yourself is not built overnight. It is built through years of effort, consistency, and discipline. It is built by showing up every day, even when no one is watching, even when progress seems slow, even when you feel like giving up. Understand this: the greatest rewards in life come to those who refuse to settle. The ones who never stop learning, never stop improving, and never stop pushing their limits. The world does not reward those who do the bare minimum. It rewards those who go beyond, who strive for excellence, who make personal growth a way of life. So ask yourself, are you treating this journey as a short-term phase? Or have you truly committed to it for life? Are you willing to wake up every day and do what it takes to keep growing? Are you willing to push past the excuses, the doubts, the temporary discomfort, and embrace the lifelong process of becoming the strongest version of yourself? Because if you are, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The choice is yours, and the future belongs to those who decide to keep going, no matter what. Make the decision today. So I ask you, Are you going to let that weak version of you control your future? Or are you going to kill it and unleash your true potential? This is your time, your moment. No more waiting, no more excuses. Kill that weak version of yourself and step into the life you were meant to live. Let's go out there and make it happen.